6 o'clock. I'd like to call the order, January 9th, 2025, Foster Town Council meeting. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a couple announcements. Thank you to everyone that sent Christmas cards to the town council. They were nice pictures. I'll share them around. Also, I want to thank Tammy Steinkamp and the rec committee for the tree lighting ceremony. It was great. It was a great job, well attended. Also want to thank Adam Daco for purchasing the wreaths for the town from Courtney Oldham. She did a great job making those, and thank you, Adam, for purchasing. Also, thank you to the two DPW employees, Harry Shippey and David Robinson, for volunteering. They did a great job actually removing all the ice. There was a lot of ice that night. And we lost power, so they knew what they were doing. They were on site and they did volunteer, so I appreciate that. All right, that's all I have for announcements. Yes.
I just wanted to say that for the people who know, Peter Despigno passed away last Saturday, married to Lee Bro's husband.
Okay.
And he'd been I think it was our electrical inspector, and she was on the board of canvassers for quite some time.
Thank you. Okay. We do have public comment. Oh, there's. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I apologize. Let's do a moment of silence for Peter. Peter. All right, thank you. Public comment, Ms. Ryder.
I just for clarity, I noticed that this meeting where it says live stream for the people on Zoom, so that for a couple of meetings it said hybrid where people could interact, and now we're back to live stream, and I just want to know if that's the way it's going to be going forward.
Yes.
Okay. My other concern is that coming out of Boswell Trail onto Route 6, it is almost impossible to see what's coming from Connecticut. There's like a hump of dirt, but also, and I don't know if this is a town or a state thing, but there's some wild grasses growing up and you can't see for beans. That's all.
Thank you. Chief.
Good evening, everybody. As you know, my name is Chief Lindell and I run the Foster Police Department. The reason for my public comment tonight is that I wanted everyone in Zoom land and for everybody here to know that we have interviewed several potential officers, and we have the funding for one of them. They're all great candidates. We've interviewed 3. I have another interview next week with another possible one. We only have funding for one. And so I wanted to let everybody know that we are working on getting another body out here. What I'm finding is the amount of calls that we're receiving and the timeliness of them. So we're receiving 2 and 3 calls at the same time. And obviously we have one guy on the road. And for those of us who don't know that, we have one person on the road. This next person that we get will still have one person the majority of the time. So what I would like to put out there in the future is once the new police building gets built and we start moving forward on that, that we would like to possibly get funding for at least 2 more officers. In a perfect world, we need 2 officers on the road at all times. It's for public and officer safety. So, but I wanted everyone to know that we are working on getting some really outstanding candidates. I mean, it's either feast or famine. Either we can't find anybody with a pulse, or we have 4 guys knocking on our door and they've all got experience. So I will keep everybody posted on who we choose, because we will be choosing one very shortly. And I just wanted to keep everybody in the loop for what we need in the very near future.
Gina, how many officers do we have right now? We had funding for 9.
We have funding for
I'm sure we
9.
used a lot in overtime when we were down but how many
We're down.
officers do we have right now?
Right now, we have 7.
7.
And the reason we have 7 is, and that's counting me and the captain.
Mhm.
And we don't work weekends or holidays. Now, that doesn't mean I don't come in, and that doesn't mean I don't get called, because I have, and I will, and I do. But we have one gentleman injured on duty, so he's been doing some things in the station, but he'll be going for surgery. So he'll be out for probably 8 to 9 months. It's a very extensive surgery. And so that's down a guy, even though he's one of the 7, we can't really count him.
Mm.
So right now we only have the one person on the road at all times. And we've had multiple calls where we've had a gun in a car with one officer with him and a fatal on the other side of town. Same time. You know, we've had a car deer where, you know, the person driving has jumped out of the car and ran, for whatever reason. And we've had an accident on the other side of town. So the problem here is that getting backup for either officer safety or additional calls, you know, getting that Situate guy. We had a mess a few weeks ago. We had a
Mhm.
mess. We had a domestic where there were 2 officers needed because there were weapons. We had a really dangerous car stop going on at the very same time. It was 7:30 at night. I was at home and I was called and I got dressed and I went. We had the captain get dressed and he went from his house in Johnston. So it's unheard of having one person on the road. So what we're trying to do is cover the safety of the residents first, and obviously for ourselves. So that's how many we have, give or
So
take.
right now, we have 9 officers, funding for 9.
Correct. We've had 10 in the past. We had,
Yeah, that
10
was because of a grant and then
Yeah.
we went down.
but that's in the perfect world, 12 would be the number that this town would need for the size, square miles and the residents.
Okay, I was just asking to see if you were looking to go up officers.
Definitely.
Or get our other. chiefs
Definitely.
going.
And don't forget, I'm talking, nobody's on vacation. Nobody is sick. I'm talking what we have
Mhm.
as a body. Nobody's sick. Nobody takes vacation. Nobody has bereavement leave, God forbid. So there's so many variables that happen that guy, and we can't always call them back because they can't work more than 16 hours. So if they've done a double
Mhm.
and we send them home because they can't work more than 16 hours legally, and then something happens, we can't call them back. We don't have like a pool to draw from. So I hope that answers some questions. We are down a dispatcher on the weekends. And we
I saw you were advertising.
yeah, when
for
we
a
just
part-time.
advertised for
Mhm.
that. So if anybody knows of anybody who wants to be a dispatcher on the weekends, it's just 2 days, it's 2 shifts. I'm not sure if it's 3 to 11 or 11 to 7. We have an opening and they'll be trained. If they have experience, all the better. But if not, we're willing to train them. Okay, any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on to the consent agenda.
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Mm.
Hang on, not done. I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented with the removal of William Wilbur, Coastal Atlantic doing business as Foster Auto, 40 Mill Road.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the consent agenda minus William Wilbur, Coastal Atlantic, DBA Foster Auto, 40 Mill Road. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So now, so we can discuss this and I'll make a motion to accept William Wilbur's Coastal Atlantic doing business as Foster Auto, 40 Mill Road,
License renewal.
license renewal.
Second.
Okay, we have a second for William Wilbur, Coastal Atlantic. Discussion?
I was looking for an update on this one because this is the same property that we had with Wright's Auto. So
Now-
she's not here, so
Yeah, no, and Wright's Auto, I'm not sure, because these two are right next to each other. And
well, they can't
So-
be the same address.
yeah, Wright's. yeah,
Right, and it
Wright-
doesn't say that. It
Because
says 40.
It doesn't, because
So-
Wright's Auto, that's executive session stuff, but
I get
we
that.
had not
This
renewed
is,
their license.
I think this is the same piece of property
Mm,
and we haven't cleaned it up from the other guy. The other guy hasn't done his.
Kayla, do you have that handy? The pass, right?
So I just added all of the, like, secondhand, they had another license that they paid for, but I didn't-
Okay.
we never put the auto repair license on.
Right, so.
So- Chris, do you want to withdraw your motion? I'll withdraw my second, and I'll make a motion to continue this to the next agenda. You made a motion in the
Okay,
affirmative, and I
yeah.
don't want to vote in the affirmative
Right,
if there's an issue.
Right. I'll remove my motion.
And I'll remove my second. And I will make a motion to put the renewal of the license for William Wilbur, Coastal Atlantic, DBA Foster Auto, 40 Mill Road on our next agenda.
Second.
Okay, so that we continue to the next meeting,
We have to vote.
which is, we get the meeting date. 28th. The next,
23rd.
yeah, we will continue it to January 23rd's meeting.
Okay. We gotta vote on
yeah,
that.
Any other discussion? For continuation? Okay,
I did.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay. Old business. The building committee has a meeting set up. It's on the agenda because we didn't know if the meeting was actually prior to this meeting or not. So there's not really much to report on the building committee. Just know that we are pushing forward. This isn't something that we're sitting on waiting for people to come to us. We're actually making phone calls. We already talked to the building committee individually. And that's why they set up that meeting for, I think it's for the 16th. So that would be the 16th. One of the things we'll be pushing for is the contract with the builder. It's time for a contract. So that's something we'll be pushing for. We'll be discussing that on the 16th. They believe their agenda is already out there, so you can see that. Yes. Yep, please.
In an agenda an observer last month, it mentioned that the police building committee was looking for cost saving measures, and one was consolidating with another community. And I know that that is something that has been put to bed many, many, many times, that that wasn't happening. And I didn't know if you knew.
No, I'm not aware of that article.
I
I'm
didn't
not a-
see it either.
Chief?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Ryder, for bringing that up. I meant to mention that while I was up here initially. I did receive a couple of calls over the weekend saying that there was an article in the, what was it, the Observer? Saying that Foster was going to regionalize. That is a rumor that was brought up years ago to possibly do it with Gloucester and Situate. It's not going to happen. Situate and Gloucester want nothing to do with it. Nor do we have the capacity to do anything like that right now. So that's, I don't know where the gal that wrote the article got that, or she was just looking for information. She pulled that one from a long time ago. But that was something that was brought up a long time ago, and it was a plausible idea, and it is a plausible idea, maybe for a different community, but for right now, it's nothing that, so I don't really know where that, it was in print. It was in print. So, but I was, I got the text, we're regionalizing. I said, no, no.
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, it was in the
That's interesting.
last week, I think. Last week it was. Yeah, the end of December, just so that it is in print somewhere. And it was from Jackie, so I don't know where she got that from. It was from a long time
Unless
ago.
I know she was looking to do stories of most important issues. I never replied, but I'm wondering if she just,
Yeah, and she never
went
reached out to
back.
me. She never reached
Yeah.
out to anybody on the building committee.
Yeah.
Because I reached out to Joe Walsh and I reached out to Gordy and nobody knew
Yeah.
anything about it. So
Yeah, I'm sure they would have brought that to my attention also. if that was the case, so.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. They wouldn't want you to
Yeah.
get blindsided
Right.
by that. So
Hmm.
it was something that was brought up in the past, but right now it's been put to bed.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anybody have any other questions on the building committee? Like I said, I have not much to report there. Yeah, next meeting we will. The town welcome signs. So started a while ago. I had to find the past minutes and what was voted on. So we never got approval from the state. So I made a couple phone calls to the state. And I need dimensions, I'm looking for, but everything in the minutes from the past that was voted on with the planter and the signs, which we have all the material already, it's sitting there. I have the dimensions now, and I also went to a Coventry sign, because everything was based on Coventry. So I went to Coventry, I grabbed one of those signs, and I took the measurements of that sign, compared with some of the material we have already that Gordon showed me. And I'm gonna submit that to the state. The reason why I'm doing it right now is we don't have a planner. So I just taking that and running with it. And hopefully when the ground thaws, we can get that in the ground. The planters, we may have an issue with the planters. I know Coventry has them. But when I briefly talked to Rhode Island DOT, they said they have to be breakaway. Obviously, the planter's not breakaway. The signs are. Coventry has planters. They're only 8 inches out of the ground at the most if they're on an angle. Maybe that's acceptable. I'm not sure, but it was voted on, so we're gonna move forward with the planters also. We'll have to discuss, what we're gonna do with maintaining those planters, whether we do adopt a spot or, something like that for minimal, just to have, because we have some great gardeners in town that may want to volunteer and say, I can keep that thing looking nice. But that's something we can work on. We can work on that. DPW is already in the minutes, already approved that they were gonna do the install of all the signs. We just need that written approval from the state. So that's what I'm working on. Any questions on the signs? I move on to new business. Town council meeting rules. They're very basic.
Do you want them read, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them printed out right here. Okay. Need my glasses for these. All right. Okay, meetings of the town council are open to the public. Any resident who wishes to address the council on any subject within the scope of the council's authority may do so, provided it is accomplished in an orderly manner and in accordance with the procedures outlined below. If you would like to speak during the public comment period, you must sign in prior to the beginning of the meeting on the sheet provided. You may speak for a maximum of 2 minutes, and the entire public comment period of the meeting shall not exceed 30 minutes unless the council votes to extend it. Only one person may speak at a time, and each speaker may only speak once. You must address the council from the podium with a microphone. Comments are to be directed to the council exclusively and not at other individuals in attendance at the meeting. The public comment period may be stopped at any time by the council president if any individual becomes disorderly and/or violates these rules. Further, any individual causing a disruption may be asked to leave the meeting. Please note that town council members will not respond to questions during the public comment period. Section 42-46-6 of the Open Meetings Act specifically prohibits the town council from considering previously unposted matters during the public comment section of the agenda, except for informational purposes only. State law prohibits the town council from acting or voting upon any such matter except under emergency circumstances.
Any questions on? Yeah. Whatever.
First question is, will you be using the Democratic Rules of Order or Robert's Rules? Okay, that means you can't vote,
Yes, you
huh?
you can.
Right.
Roberts.
Okay, so you,
I can vote Roberts.
Yeah, I think it's democratic rules. that we can't-
no, Democratic, the chair can, Roberts only to break a tie.
No. Yeah. I can-
Okay, I can look it up.
Yeah.
Fine. All right.
I
good
can
enough.
confirm that. Roberts.
And the other thing was, if I can find it. Well, anyway, it's here. But as far as, it's up to you whether or not you allow it. But according to the open meetings, you can discuss something, you just can't vote on it, that someone brings up into public comment. But you can discuss it. Okay. So if they have a question, you can answer it. You just
Yep.
can't vote on it.
Yep. Any other discussion? Okay. Item number 3. All right, municipal fellow.
We need to vote on those
Oh,
rules.
oh, I'll entertain a motion for the town council meeting rules.
I'll make a motion to adopt the town council meeting rules as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Steve, at this time, I'm going to request that we move item number 2 to the last item under new business. The solicitor is on her way. She didn't realize that our times had changed that much, so
With a motion to move, item number 2, the municipal fellow program grant, down to where? You want to put it?
the last item, yeah,
Uh,
which
last
would be,
I'll second it.
so.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to hiring a part-time temporary town planner. All right. So we have an applicant. uh, Peter LaPala. He is a previous town planner. The application went through Kelly. She did a brief interview. Right now, as you know, we do not have a town planner. There are going to be some time constraints on anything that's submitted to the town for planning, and we need a town planner to sign off on those in a timely manner. So we went searching. Kelly's been working on this for a while now, utilizing a couple resources. Indeed is the last one. We went through about 13 applicants. A couple we scheduled interviews with, and they canceled the same day, so they never showed up. A lot of them were new to the town planning world. They were not previous town planners. They were brand new, out of college. That was probably 10 of the 13. The other ones weren't here. One was in Washington State. And the one person that wanted to come in from Boston, that's one that canceled last minute, the last one.
Mhm.
Previous to that, they canceled probably a couple days prior. So we were referred this person from the state,
What was that name?
Peter LaPala,
LaPala?
LaPolla.
He has a really impressive resume.
Yes, he
has
does.
a lot of experience, and he's retired and willing
He
to
is
work
retired.
part-time.
He is retired, so be part-time.
Mhm.
Right now, he's retired, so he's a 75-day employee. That's the amount of days he can work, max. So he has to be part-time anyways. So in the interim, this is what we'd like to do is hire him on probably as a consultant,
Yes, okay,
Which-
yep,
which we can discuss.
Mhm.
In the interim, while we're still looking for a permanent replacement for the town planner. I just don't want to get stuck where someone applies for something, it has to go to the planning board. Planning board has control of a lot of stuff, but they can't sign off on anything. It has to be a town planner.
Hmm.
This person can actually do that.
Mhm.
This person can actually do that.
So for discussion, I would make a motion that we hire Peter LaPala as a part-time temporary town planner.
Second,
Can you-
I'm not gonna, Kelly is gonna negotiate. I don't know if this
No,
is
no,
what
I
you're
was gonna
asking.
say pending BCI and references.
Okay,
That's the only two
Alright.
things that we didn't have.
okay.
Oh,
Kelly, I think is
Yep.
is done that, but all right, pending.
Yeah, just those two things.
Yes. Um, planning
It'd
consultant.
be a planning consultant.
Yes. Kelly will negotiate with him on his hourly rate. I spoke to her, actually, she was going to be here tonight, but she has a family situation, so she couldn't be. But he will be able to do all the duties. He's very experienced, and it will give us time. We don't want to just hire the first warm body that we can get. We need to get somebody good. So with him doing that, it gives us more time to explore more options, to advertise different places, to really get a pool of candidates. So I think it's a good solution for us for right now.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Discussion. Yes.
So just to clarify, as I understood it, Grant was still,
Not anymore.
no,
he's not.
done.
No.
Okay, because we didn't know that, and I have directed a couple of meetings that I've had with several grant people that you guys will know all about this because I'm gonna ask them to put it on the agenda.
Mm.
I had to give them dates of the next town council meetings
Mhm.
for a grant that we're trying to get from RIPTA. But Grant and I had met with them originally back in the late summer.
Yeah,
And so they met with me, but they've been calling him, and I just got an email
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah, he's
And
not-
I wasn't aware that he
We-
was no
no.
more.
no, he's no more. But this gentleman is willing to start on Monday.
Beautiful. Okay, so we'll get that.
And
in.
he's a grant writer too.
Excellent,
Awesome.
excellent. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Oh, and the next one is exploring options for solicitation, hiring of a town planner. So one of the things that we noticed too, when the publication went out, it was for a full-time planner. Um, I thought maybe possibly that it might be okay to actually put it out as a full-time with a part-time option. We may get more people to apply that can do it part-time. Full-time for the amount that we budget for a planner. I looked up, I think it's Hopkinton. I think it's Hopkinton or Charleston that's looking for a planner now. Obviously, different community, different funding, but it's, 98,000 starting down there. So I think utilizing a part-time planner may be an option for us, and not a full-time planner. So that's one of the things I was thinking of.
So you have a higher salary for
Correct.
part-time.
Still
'Cause,
staying within the
this,
budget.
yeah, the salary, I know that's been a deterrent, is that we can't pay as much for like full-time as other communities can. I think a lot of the big projects have been done, the comprehensive plan, the zoning ordinances. So that's that's some weight off of that. I don't know that we need to vote on this, but
Yeah, I don't think-
I know Kelly was going to advertise in a few more places, and also there are feelers out there I've had a discussion with one of our past planners about anybody that he may know that would be interested. So we're reaching out that way as well.
Mike Analysis
Mike Antonelli.
trying to help us too.
He is, yes,
Because obviously he has contacts.
he does.
So. But yeah, I just want to bring that up as a discussion item, that we don't really need to vote on that. Yeah, yep.
Several years ago, the town spent, what, $40,000 on an economic development consultant. And granted, I think some of that, or maybe all of it, was paid through the ARPA funds. But we had a laundry list of things that should be done. And other than, maybe the zoning might be one, but most of it has not been done. And I know that when you do get to the fellow program, that person is strictly housing. They can't do anything else. And with the push to bring businesses to Route 6, you would hope that you would have someone who could liaison with the state it's all who you know. And to try to get, businesses that are looking for someplace, give them our number. I know that what used to be Sue Ann Creations is now for rent. And I don't know if anybody's working on that, trying to find somebody to fill that spot. But I would hate to see the economic development portion just die off.
And Peter has worked in the state. He's not just out of, he did work in Massachusetts, but he did work in
Cranston.
Cranston. So he definitely he's got a lot of time in. Cranston, West Warwick, Cranston,
Cranston.
Woonsocket. Economic Development Coordinator in Woonsocket.
Yeah, it's just that I know that a planner's time just gets, it gets filled up so fast because we only have a volunteer planning board. We only, you know what I mean? And they are kind of a one-man show. So,
Yep.
and a lot of their
Yeah,
time.
a lot of it's not just on the planner either. You know, there's other people that can actually step up and start looking for businesses, some people reaching out to the state.
I hope so.
Okay, item number 5. We need a town council member to join me at the police department building committee. We'll volunteer. It's 5:30 on the 16th.
Actually, I'd like to go to that. The first one anyway, and then we can alternate after that.
Okay, I'll make a motion that Chris Stone attend the January 16th Police Station Building Committee meeting, along with Steve Pluff.
Second.
We have a motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chris. Next item, we need 2 town council members to attend the engineering board meeting on the 28th at 7 PM. That one we discussed, we're not gonna assign, that's just gonna be on a rotating basis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be willing.
I can do it too if I can.
Yeah.
Something like.
I make a motion. I'll let you do it.
Mr. Maritime makes a motion.
I'll let him do it.
I make a motion, we have Heidi and Catherine go to the engineering board on the 16th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
It's the 28th, right?
Yeah.
28th at 7 PM. This is actually old business, but I put it in new business because we haven't discussed it yet. I wanted to just bring it forward, the police station phone system. So there were a couple outages, as you probably know, due to power. So what I did is I actually did a survey on the phone system we currently have. And realized that the main lines that come into for our phone system and our internet is in the basement of the police station. The actual phone system is in the basement of the town hall. It's extended from that side to the town hall. The phone system now feeds back to the police station because it's the same phone system for both the police station and the town hall. The outage that we had was, it could have been a downline, but this one wasn't. This was actually power. There's a battery backup on those items. They're called network interface devices. And the battery backup at the police station was actually bad. So that is now replaced. That's fixed. That's going to keep the phone lines up, not for a long period of time if we lose power. But we do have a generator that they'll eventually turn on, but there is a delay. But the battery will actually keep the phones up. The 911 won't go down because that's a different phone system and they have a cell backup. Now, if they lose the cell and the 911, then it will go down. But 911 was never in jeopardy at that time. The phones currently are being forwarded to Situate, which I'd like to discuss a new way to forward that. I think they should be forwarded to town employees, town cell phones, if possible. Maybe one for the town hall, maybe one for the police station, just in case. Now, those numbers aren't necessarily critical. They're not 911 numbers. It's the phone lines in the police station, phone lines in the town hall. So the battery backup should fix the lines coming in, not going out. The phone system is, we found out is not under contract, but we do have a service provider. So we went to Intermedia and they are also they're in the process of changing the caller ID for the police station, just the police station lines. It's got a cascade through all the providers, so it takes some time, but it's already starting to update. So some of those lines, depending on who they're calling, their caller ID will now say Forster Police Department and not Forster Town Hall. So as they call out, they will see Foster Police Department. So when they're doing their investigations and they want someone to pick up the phone because it's Foster Police, not Foster Town Hall looking for tax pay, they'll pick up the phone because it's a different situation. All right, but that's gonna cascade. It's gonna take some, could take up to, I think it's three months, I think they said, because it's gotta go through all the providers, Sprint, Verizon, all the cell companies, AT&T. So it's gonna take a little bit of time, but it's already starting to show. So it's gonna take some time. I just want to give an update on that. Yes.
You mentioned Sir Gordy Rogers, Highway Director. I have service providers. We have a lot of companies comes in that, for example, the AEDs. I have a company we hire that checks the batteries on them. I have a company that does generator inspections to make sure everything's good. I have a company coming in do fire extinguisher checks every year. I have companies coming in checking multiple things. We personally check all the lighting. A lot of these batteries were dead when I first walked in. I didn't realize how many the town had. Can that service provider, can we add on a service protection plan where they come and do a yearly check on the batteries and change them at need? Because their
So
fire alarm system, we have a company that comes in, we don't have one on this building, but we do. That will come in and check the battery backups for the systems and replace them as needed.
they do have people that do that. Normally, all those devices are owned by the town, right? So you're not gonna have
Not that one, is it?
that battery backups will. Yeah,
Alright.
because these are not the battery backups built into the Verizon network interface device. It's a separate battery backup that we own.
Well, we own the generators, we own the AEDs,
Right,
we own
right.
all the stuff that I have contracts
Yep.
for, so is there
Yeah,
a
no,
company?
There's definitely probably a contract that you can do in that. It's not standard. So
Alright.
I don't know what they would, I know our IT group probably wouldn't do that. It would have to be a separate company. And not having a budget for an on-site IT person, that kind of limits us a lot. If we had that, that person would actually be the one doing all that. But we don't have somebody like that could do that locally. You know, even if we had another town employee that had the knowledge to be the IT person also, like we have a finance director, HR, maybe we had that, but we don't have that ability right now, but I could definitely look into it though.
Excuse me, I have one
Yep.
to add to that. Ma'am,
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of circumventing the phone calls not to another police station, I want everyone to think long and hard about if we get a call to our personal cell phone or any cell phone, that phone could be confiscated if there's a crime in progress, depending on what it is. I mean, if someone's calling but a cat in a tree, that's different than there's someone with a gun to my head, someone's breaking into my house, I just witnessed a murder. Those phones, they should be on a recorded line somewhere. So having the phones forwarded to Situate is not ideal, but we should really talk about, I don't think it should go to personal cell phones, even cell phones that, even if the cell phones were purchased by, hi honey, even if you guys purchase cell phones for us and they were owned by the town, they should still be on a recorded line, just for an investigation. God
Yeah,
forbid.
and that's something I learned during my surveys, that people that should be calling 911 are actually calling directly to the police department, because that's all they've done. They've always called the direct number instead of calling 911. They may have called directly to the police department number
Oh, okay.
instead of 911.
Yeah,
So-
but if the phones go down, it should be forwarded somewhere where there's a recorded line.
I mean, they really shouldn't be calling those numbers that go down. They should be calling 911,
It-
number, which won't go down.
Well,
They should.
how about if they don't know that the phones are down though?
911 won't go down.
911 won't go
Right,
down,
I'm
but
not saying the 911 number is being forwarded to cell. I'm talking about the regular desk phone.
but the regular desk phone, if like if God forbid Gordon had an emergency
Mhm.
and wasn't aware that our phones were down, how would he'd call the station,
To call-
you know, because
right,
it would just be like a routine phone call.
instead of 911.
Instead of
Right, that's-
911, yeah.
that's where-
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I find that in this town, like with the state police, 911 was always blew up. Here, they call direct.
I know, that's what I,
Uh,
that's what.
here, Unless it's somewhere on Route 6 and they're not familiar with the police station, they don't really know who to call and it's a real emergency, they just hit 911 and it gets directed here. But I find that too. But I just wanted to give you guys some food for thought.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Joanna, I made a motion and moved the fellows grant to the end.
I'm so sorry.
No
No,
problem.
that's okay. All right, we have next item. Any other discussion on the phone system? We're good. Next item we have is the poll petition for Round Hill Road, poll 1.
I can wing a motion because I can't get any stuff up on my computer. But
I have
do you have it?
it.
I know how it
It's a-
pretty much goes. It's just as
Yeah,
it's a new-
I make a motion to approve the poll petition for Round Hill Road, poll 1 as recommended by the DPW director.
Yes.
As long as it's 3 feet off the road.
Yeah.
Okay, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Poll petition on Round Hill Road discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
You got a page 2?
Fire to come back. There it is.
Oh, it's on the back of that.
There it
I
is.
printed out 2
All right.
pages.
So we have item 9, appointments and reappointments. Police Department Building Committee.
I'll make a motion to appoint Council President Steve Plouffe to the Police Station Building Committee.
Second.
Oh, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Conservation Commission.
I couldn't, again, I can't bring things up on this computer. I was just wondering,
Yeah, let me
on, for
take mine.
Conservation Commission, do we have terms for these names? I've got 3 names, but I didn't know if they were different terms. There's nobody from conservation here. Okay. Do you know if they're all 1-year terms?
They were all for the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the term is. Is this, that one's for 3,
Yeah, 3 years.
for all of them?
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay. I'll make a motion to reappoint the following individuals to the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2027. No. Oh, right, because it was December. Okay, 2027, got it. Anthony McClellan, Michael Galligan, and Kathy Luch. Somebody help me here.
Yeah, that one.
Lushka Zahansky.
Kazansky?
Lushka Zahansky? It is that, okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Land Trust.
I would make the same motion. Again, I'm not sure what the term is for this. Land trust terms. Linda's here. 3-year term ending in December 2027. Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Beth Smith to the Land Trust for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Okay.
Planning Board, Warren Duchan.
This is a 5-year term, so we'll be expiring in 2029. Okay. I make a motion to reappoint Warren Ducharme as a member of the Planning Board for a 5-year term expiring December 31st, 2029.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Town Historian Stanley B. Hopkins.
Didn't we already
I
appoint?
thought
him?
we already did this.
Yeah.
I thought we did too. A letter from him?
We just got-
He's already in the position.
Yeah,
It's not like he's new.
Must have just.
Right,
Oh, okay.
Carolyn?
well, it won't hurt to
Yeah.
appoint him twice. Okay, I make a motion to reappoint Stanley B. Hopkins as the town historian.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay, Municipal Fellows Program grants. So this was a grant that was applied for with the state. To cover a person coming in to help with housing and development, land acquisition. And we had some deliverables that we discussed that weren't in our favor. So the solicitor sent that back, got it changed. So now the deliverable is a little more feasible. Currently not having a town planner, just believe this grant may help us, at least help the part-time temporary town planner that may be coming in, the consultant. It's a reimbursement plan. So someone would have to supervise the person. Sign off on the timesheets, send it back in, making sure they're getting to their deliverables completed. And then we'd be reimbursed for the salary that was paid out.
Salary and benefit.
Salary and benefits, sorry.
And that's on a
Salary and
monthly
benefits.
basis, I believe, from according to the
monthly.
contract,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
It's monthly.
Mhm.
So I think this person could actually help us in town, now that the deliverables were changed. Which they approved, obviously the state approved them. I think it would actually help the town with, and as someone already stated, they can only work in housing. That's actually not true. That's part of their deliverables is housing. But we can utilize that person for anything within planning. Okay, as long as they hit their deliverables. Okay, we can utilize that person for anything within planning. So that person coming in, if they have contacts with the state already, because they're coming from the state. That could actually help us, in my opinion.
I wasn't in favor of this because we had a bunch of concerns. We thought we ran out of time. We got an extension, so that's a good thing. But right, but we also didn't have anybody at the time that could oversee this person. Now that we're going to have our part-time temporary consultant who is a planner who could oversee this person.
It has supervised people.
Right, I think at this point, I'd be in favor of this. And who knows, maybe it'd be somebody who just loved here so much that they'd want to stay on with us full time. You never know, you never know. No, but I think
miracles before.
it would be helpful, and especially if they can branch out to other areas, they're not just limited to housing. I know that's the primary objective, and I know we've identified two that we had put in the contract.
Right, and in addition to that was just one of the many things that they wanted the fellow to focus on.
Yeah, I think that at this time, especially, in the absence of like a full-time planner, I think this would be helpful.
I don't know how much work they can branch out. I don't know how much leeway we have with that, but it is somebody who's newer, so.
Yeah. And then the hiring process for this person. I had talked to Kelly about it before. Do they just send us somebody? We interview somebody. They give us a pool of people and
Their goal, the state housing department's goal is that they identified candidates that they had and tried to match them up who would be the best fit with this town, with a rural town.
Mhm.
So my understanding is that there are 3 candidates left. They have one particular, they're kind of first choice for us. They'll send that person over. We interview them. If we like them, we take them. If we don't like them, we can say, okay, next, what's behind door number 2? but there are only 3 people to pick from, so we have 3 doors, but they will not give us all 3 and say, choose which one you like best. It's 1, you know, accept or reject, then go to 2, accept or reject, and then if we didn't like any of them, they can try to find an alternate, but apparently. The individual there, Josh, he said that he does have his first choice candidate he thinks would be a good fit. They're interested in a rural town, so.
And these are, I know it's a fellows grant. These are people who have degrees in planning or
Yes.
are going to college for planning or
They're
they're
degrees,
already
they are
graduates. Okay, okay.
But not unsure, I do not know what type of experience they have, if they've ever worked in a planning department.
Right,
If they've interned, I think that varies.
okay.
So,
Do we have any questions?
No, I know we got on the discussion before a motion, but how would I make a motion for this? I make a motion to. Am I just gonna make a motion for Steve to sign?
you can
The
make a motion
contract?
that you accept the grant agreement,
Okay,
and that, authorizing the town council president to execute it.
Okay. I make a motion that we accept the grant program as presented and authorize the town council president to sign the contract.
Second.
Any discussion? Motion is second. Yes,
Can I ask one?
yeah, absolutely.
Susan Joyce, I'm a planning board member. Kelly had, I talked to her a little bit about this position and she had said that Warren Ducharme was going to be the temporary supervisor until a permanent town planner was hired. Did that change with the appointment of Peter?
We haven't talked to Warren yet.
Okay, Kelly has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right, I
and
didn't
he
get that.
believes that he has been volunteered for the position.
Oh, Volunteer?
Yeah.
Yes, accept the volunteer.
Yeah,
So that's
and the
something that We
state-
gotta confirm.
Okay, and the state did vet him.
I think the state approves it so long as, because we did not have a planner.
Mm.
We have
Right.
somebody who is in that position, I think that we have not cleared that with the state yet, so I think that's something we'll work out.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion? Yes.
Hi, everyone. Nicole Andrews Gabbage, 69 Foster Center Road. Just a couple of questions for your discussion. One being, depending on whether Mr. LaPala is going to be an employee or an independent contractor, I don't know if that was discussed or whether we would be able to have someone who's an independent contractor supervising the fellow. And the second question being, would Mr. LaPala or were there discussions, I guess, with Mr. LaPala about him taking this temporary part-time position in the context of also supervising the fellow? Because he may alter his decision
Yeah,
to
that
take the
wasn't discussed
position.
yet.
So just some thought.
Yep, thank you. Any other discussion?
I think, do you want to talk about how we want to interview candidates? If the whole council wants to do an interview, we can do that in executive session, or did you want to elect, like 1 or 2 members to interview with Kelly and myself?
Do you know what a time frame for that is? Because we don't have that on the agenda right now. We have authorizing that, but yeah, I'm assuming it'll be a couple of weeks.
I think that they'll send us the candidate right away.
They
Once-
will.
Once we sign, because the person is waiting in the
Waiting
wings,
to-
because
yeah.
then we have to, if we accept that person, we have to make an offer and things like that. But I don't think you have to take action on it, but we can, you know, you might want to think about how you want to handle interviewing that person.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Right. Passes. Motion for adjournment,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thanks for coming.
You're sure?